All right, so tonight I'm really excited. We have someone, this is Joe Cardon, and he is our regional sales manager for the Central region. So he works with Star Diamonds from 3-star to 8-star, and he just kind of mentors and, listens to us complain and then celebrates with us as well. So, and he's really great at letting you kind of see a different view on things and giving tips that you can actually implement into your business. So he offered to come and speak to us tonight, and I wanted to take him up on it. And that's also why we changed around. I wanted to be flexible and let it fit his family schedule. He's on mountain time. And so just like it's important for us to make sure we keep our priorities in line, it goes all the way to the top. So thank you, Joe, for being on. I'm going to make sure that everybody is muted. If you guys have questions or anything, make sure that you just type them into the chat box, and then we can go over those toward the end of the call. All right? Okay. Take it away, my friend.
All right, Natalie, thank you so much for having me on the call today. I absolutely love being on these calls with you. And first of all, let me just say, I really appreciate you guys making it a priority to jump on this call. So when you jump on calls like these, you're making your business a priority. And when you make your business a priority, honestly, it's just going to open up horizons for you to grow things and for you to build your team and for you to build your opportunity here through Beachbody. So I appreciate you guys being here, and I'm excited for the future for you guys. So one of the things that Natalie asked me to talk about here today really is how to open up your income pipeline through Beachbody coaching. So I'm just going to crack things off with that, and I'm going to start off with a homework assignment for you guys right off the bat. What I want you guys to do, I'm going to post in the chat here a link, and I want you guys to copy that link and open it up in your browser, save it, get to understand it, get to know it. What I want you guys to do is I want you guys to embrace, I want you guys to understand, and I want you guys to really put into action and practice our Beachbody compensation plan for you. So here's the thing. I've got this pile of board games that my kids have that we play together as a family. And they're super, super smart kids. But if I was to sit down with one of those guys or one of my kids or my wife or anyone else really and start to play one of these board games, but I didn't read the rules for it first, what would my prospects look like for me to win that game? I can tell you with my kids or my wife, they're much smarter than me. If I didn't read the rules, there's no way I'm going to win, okay? So with Beachbody, for some reason, there's this almost like an aversion for people to feel like they're making money through helping other people. Now, what I'll tell you is that's a win-win situation. Those people are gladly jumping in, losing weight, being healthy, opening up their opportunity as far as income is concerned and all that other stuff. So get the guilt from making money through this business out of your head. And understand the pipeline, guys. You got to know the rules before you can win the game, right? So get to understand that Beachbody compensation plan highlights guide. Know it backwards and forwards. Know where your pipelines of income are coming from, and utilize that in your business. Make sure that all of your new coaches understand how to earn as well. Okay, so there are also some other guides out there, like Michael Neiman did a really cool video on the Beachbody compensation plan. You can check out. You can find it on YouTube. You can find a lot of resources on the Coach Online Office under training, under how to earn income as well. So just make sure that you're very well versed in that. And what I want to talk to you guys about really there's two different phases in this business, okay, that I've noticed. What I've noticed. And I honestly have just been analyzing coaches. I've been watching coaches. I've been working with coaches for years now. And before I worked with a 3 through 8-star coaches, I worked with a diamond to 3-star coaches. So I've seen quite a spectrum of coaches and where they're at in the business and their progression and all of that stuff. Okay. So the first stage of this business I noticed is you'll find coaches that oftentimes they start out and they're selling challenge packs and they're recruiting coaches and they've got this slow and steady income. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and I'm just going to do a little whiteboard session with you. So what I notice is there's kind of two planes here in this business, right? So you got one plane is represented by income, and then the other plane is represented by the amount of time that you've been coaching. Now, a book that I read recently that is phenomenal I'm just going to go in here and close these blinds so I don't have like the so I don't have like a weird shadows on my face. So one book that I read recently that is phenomenal, it's called Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk, okay? And he talks about being patient. And that's something that I want to make sure that you guys are doing. You got to be patient with the business. Like if you open your own business and you're an entrepreneur, to expect that business to really be cranking out some income within your first 6 months, it's kind of a tall order, right? Take some time to establish your business and all that stuff. But getting back to this, I've noticed that the income progression for coaches oftentimes slowly goes like this. And then all of a sudden, what will happen with coaches that are successful is they see this upsweep in income versus the amount of time they're spending in this business, right? Can you guys tell the difference between this side of the phase and this side of the phase, right? We definitely want to be playing over here, right? This side of the business is what I call the I do side of the business. So this represents you doing your workouts, doing your PD, selling challenge packs, even recruiting. Over here is the we do side of things, all right? So what I want you guys to understand is that as you look at the Beachbody Compensation Plan Highlights Guide, you're going to see that there's multiple different tiers of income or pipelines of income that you can tap into. What you'll see in the I do phase basically is you selling challenge packs and getting the retail commissions in the I do phase. And you might actually get some team cycle bonuses out there if you are recruiting coaches. But the difference is once you're in the we do phase, you're tapping into team cycle bonuses, okay? So in the we do phase, team cycle bonuses are going to be your biggest income pipeline. Once you get into the we do phase and you're getting team cycle bonuses and your team is growing in volume and things are expanding, what's happening is these coaches are producing volume outside of your own personal efforts, okay? So what I want you guys to understand as well is this. Like if you want a bigger harvest, like when it comes to be harvest time, then you've got to have more farmers that are planting seeds, okay? Because you planting seeds alone is not going to be enough to give you guys a humongous harvest, right? So how do you have more farmers planting seeds? You have more coaches going out there building this business with you. I'll put it in another way. Like if you guys had like the income, you had the permits, you had the land, you had everything you needed, all the materials, all of that stuff to build your dream home, but the only caveat is you had to do it all yourself. I can tell you guys, you wouldn't make it happen. None of us could. No matter how good you are, laying a foundation and doing all these other different things, they're more than just a one-man job, right? It takes multiple people. It takes a crew of people in order for you to do those types of things, right? So what I want you guys to understand is in order to build that home, your dream home, you need a good crew. In order to build your dream business, you need a good crew, right? And as you look at that income Beachbody Compensation Plan Highlights Guide, what you'll find is once you tap in to the we do phase of the business, then all of a sudden you get more pipelines of income coming in for you, right? Because you can work your fingers to the bone in the I do phase and not be crushing it with your income, all right? And ain't nobody got time for that, right? You guys need to be making some more money like outside of just the retail side of things. So team cycle bonuses are fantastic. The matching bonus is such a huge thing. Guys, when you get coaches out there that are also getting team cycle bonuses, you get a piece of that pie. That's another income pipeline that you could be pushing for, right? So here's the thing. There is, back to the patience side of things. There is a misconception in this business that the streets are paved with gold at Diamond. And once I hit Diamond, everything's going to be okay. And all of my dreams are going to come true. Now, obviously, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but for real, coaches have this, this vision of once you get to Diamond, everything's going to be great. Now, the cool part about Diamond is when you hit Diamond, you start cycling. Your team cycle bonuses start being paid out at $18 a cycle instead of $14 or instead of $16. But outside of that, not a lot changes apart from just the recognition you get for being a diamond coach. You're still playing in the I do phase, really. Okay? So what my challenge for you guys to do is this. Set your sights on 2-star. Set your sights on 2-star. That's really when you start playing in the we do phase. Why? Because you've got an active diamond on your left leg. You got an active diamond on your right leg. You're cycling $18 a cycle. You know, all of a sudden you've got more people that are in play with you. You're not the only builder all of a sudden, right? You've got other farmers that are going out there and planting seeds. And when that happens, your harvest is going to be much, much larger because you're not the only person doing this anymore, right? That's when you rock out this we do side of things, okay? So you'll start to find the 2-star quarterly bonus. You'll get to open up your second CBC, which means that you get to cycle under basically more accounts. So for the same 100 points in volume, instead of cycling once, you're going to cycle twice. And if you're working together with your husband or a spouse or significant other, and you're working together there, you could potentially be cycling 3 times for the same 100 points in volume. Okay, so all of a sudden you're starting to get a lot more bang for your buck, and things are starting to open up for you. You're getting team cycle bonuses, you're getting a matching bonus, you're getting a 2-star quarterly bonus, you're getting the retail commissions, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is maybe something that I can do full time. But until you get to that point, you're going to be playing in the I do phase alone. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. You have to be in the I do phase in order to get to the we do phase. This is a crucial part. Okay, guys, this is something that so many coaches get lost in. I want you to think of your business like a tree. Okay, now there's different components to the tree. You've got the roots, you got the branches, and you got fruit, right? So the roots of your tree are like your recruiting. Now, if you're going out and you're bringing on active coaches, then that's great, and you're selling challenge packs and you're doing those different things. The roots of your tree are, solid. And as that happens, what will happen is you'll build leaders. And the leaders are like the branches. So those are your emeralds, those are your diamonds, those are your star diamonds. And as those branches grow, they produce fruit. And the fruit is like your income, your recognition, just all sorts of things like that. And honestly, what happens in this business so many times is you get your focus stuck on the branches and on the fruit. And before you know, all of your time is being spent on branches and fruit. Okay? That's a common problem. You know why? Because if that's what you're doing, you're not doing the I do phase anymore. And if you're not recruiting and you're not bringing on challengers, what do you think your team is going to do? They ain't going to do it. You're the leader, right? So you got to remember that part of your business is the root system. Now, if you have a tree and the roots are dead, what will happen to the branches and the fruit? It's going to die. It's going to fall off. Okay, guys? So what you need to be doing is, although the we do phase is crucial, you've got to be spending at least 80% of your time on your roots. Because here's what I'll tell you, guys. I don't care if it's Beachbody or if it's Apple Computers or if it's Coca-Cola or if it's any of these giant companies out here who are super innovative and amazing. You will have good years and you'll have bad years. You'll have good times. You'll have bad times. And here's the thing. The winds of life will blow on your Beachbody tree. And it will blow the branches off sometimes and it'll blow the fruit off sometimes. You guys just saw the hurricane that happened in Puerto Rico, in Florida, in Texas, right? You have these hurricane force winds that will blow branches off of trees. So here's the thing. Even if that happens, if your root system is strong, your tree will be fine, right? No matter how hard the winds blow, even if they blow off your tree branches and your fruit. Will it suck? Yep, it will. It doesn't make life easier. But here's the thing, guys. Life isn't always easy. I don't care what business you're in or how amazing it is. I like to use Apple Computers because they're a very innovative company. They're amazing. But they've had times when things were not great, right? They had to fire Steve Jobs. and they tried new things and it didn't work. And then they brought Steve Jobs back, and then they were able to make it a recovery and everything worked out. But the winds of life blew on Apple, and they had a solid enough root system that they were able to push through, right? So you guys need to have that solid root system as well. And that comes from recruiting and finding more challengers and helping other people. Boom, boom, boom. Every single month you grow that up. And when you do, the root system will provide branches, which will be leaders. And those leaders will provide you with the team cycle bonuses. Your income pipelines will grow. The recognition that you're looking for will grow. And you'll start moving into the we do phase, all right? But that can't happen without you being in the I do phase yourself. So the other homework assignment I have for you guys is to lock in your time management, okay? So one thing I did look at recently is a survey that we did with coaches whose income grew this year versus last year. And we asked all these people the same questions, okay? And without doubt, there was a few things that they had in common each and every time. First, they had a great attitude. They had an optimistic view of their future of Beachbody. And I can tell you, mindset is so crucial in your business. If you're like Eeyore, like from Winnie the Pooh, and you're like, oh gosh, I lost my tail and life is dreary and it's raining. Like, nobody's going to want to be in that camp with you, right? But if you're like, hey, I'm going out there and changing lives. This is the most fit I've ever been in my life before. Here is Sarah and Tiffany and Amy and Rachel. We're all pushing together and we're all crushing our fitness goals and we're all adding income to our family right now. And it's amazing. So all of a sudden, when you have that positive attitude, it will turn things around for you, right? So it's honestly, and I told Jeff Hill this today when I shared the statistic with him. Be excited, exactly. I shared the statistic with him, and he said, well, it's easy for people to be excited when their income is growing. And I said, wait, their income is growing because they're excited, because they have a positive attitude, right? So that's important. After that, honestly, what I would tell you guys is these guys are putting in the time, right? On average, I think these guys are putting in about 30 hours a week in Beachbody. And I'm not saying you have to do that, but there is a price to be paid for success. And this is not a get-rich-quick business. This isn't a business where we promise the moon and all you got to do is take this little pill and everything is going to be great. No, we're about hard work, right? Whether that's fitness or whether that's your business. And here's the beautiful part. Hard work will be long lasting. It's going to continue to pay off for you, whether that's in your fitness or your business, okay? So one thing that I'll ask you to do with your time, and this is very helpful. If you don't already have this going on right now, I want you guys to try it. Give yourself a schedule of what you're going to be doing throughout the day. Because if you don't have a schedule and you don't have a sense of urgency to finish something in a specific amount of time, then you can get stuck watching how to do the smoky eye videos, right? Or you can get stuck watching kitten videos on Facebook, and it's easy. That's why social media is so awesome, right? I mean, it's cool. It's really fun to watch, and we can get pulled into that. But in the end, if you spend an hour scrolling the news feed, you didn't really work, right? I mean, sometimes we think that that's work, but that isn't really work. So what I'm going to challenge you guys to do is download an app called 30/30, okay? 30/30 is really cool because what you can do is you can allot a specific amount of time to each task. So you can say, hey, I'm going to spend 15 minutes on inviting. I'm going to spend 20 minutes on following up. I'm going to spend 10 minutes adding people to my social media network. I'm going to spend X amount of time doing this or that or whatever. So you can draw up your power pockets or your power hour or whatever you want to call it. You can basically just divide up your business activity tracker and say how much time you're going to allot to each thing. So you can put it up there, 30/30, that's right. So you download it and it'll tell you, okay, start your inviting. Okay, move on to following up. Okay, move on to conversations. And it'll tell you what you need to do there. And that way you can stay in control of how much time you spend on each behavior. Because if you're not careful, what will happen is you'll get pulled into watching the news feed. You'll get pulled into watching videos. You'll get pulled into spending too much time watching trainings. You'll get pulled into, frankly, working with your team all the time. That's the comfort zone stuff, guys. right? So let's stay on top of what you're doing every single day, and let's spend our time on the best practices, on the things you know are going to keep you in the I do phase, right? And growing your business. The last thing I'll just say, honestly, is going back to mindset, guys. The mindset of choosing to have faith, of choosing to be positive. And I'll share just a quick little story for you guys about something. And I think Natalie heard this when I was talking in Dallas. How many of you guys are actually in Dallas? Anybody else in Dallas? Nobody? Okay, so I shared the story in Dallas. I'll just make it quick for you. But honestly, this is one of those things that really made mindset drive home to me on how important it is. So I'm not trying to brag behind any of this stuff. First of all, let me say that. Second of all, really, it can make a difference. And what I want you guys to understand with this is mindset is so much based on PD. Now, if you guys are reading PD and you're like, this is like the 6th time you've tried to get through this light edge and you're like, I can't, I'm like throwing up. I hate this book. Move on, guys. Don't try and choke down some personal development book just because somebody told you it's good, right? It might be good for that person, but if you are not feeling it, move on to something you are feeling, something that resonates with you, okay? Because honestly, reading PD really made a difference for me, listening to personal development books and stuff like that. So I'll share this experience I had with just recently. So I just started cycling. My brother brought a bike to a family reunion. I got to try it. I was like, dude, this is really fun. So I got a bike myself. We started cycling, my brother and I, and I kind of got hooked on this sport. Plus, it was really cool because I had like already a good fitness platform since I started with all of our Beachbody programs, right? So I could cycle faster than a lot of new beginners could because of those programs. But my brother was talking to somebody about a race that they do up here in Utah, and it starts in Utah, it goes through Idaho, and it ends in Wyoming. It's 203 miles. And my brother was thinking about doing it, and before I knew it, as my brother was talking about it, he was contemplating it with me. I was like, well, I'll do it if you do it. And I remember just thinking, did I just say that? Like, holy cow. And I kind of felt sick to my stomach because my brother was like, okay, I'll do it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just said I'd do that. Now I got to actually do this race. So I started preparing. We started riding together. And before I knew it, I got a good team. So that's important. You guys got to surround yourself with a good team. People have similar goals that you do, right? Similar attitudes. And this team was like, hey, Joe, man, like you're getting fast. My original goal was just to finish the race. And then the team was like, Joe, you need to up your goal. You need to up your goal because you're capable of more than that. Those are the type of people you want to surround yourself with, right? So I decided, yeah, I'm going to do this race and I'm going to try and do it fast. I'm going to try and do it in under 10 hours. So we trained, we practiced every weekend, we put in the time all year long. And then the day of the race comes up. And here's where the personal development stuff comes in and the positive mindset. I stayed the night with my brother the day before the race. And all of his family had the stomach flu like before. And honestly, I show up to the race, I show up to the starting line, and I have stomach flu symptoms. And I'm like, oh no, this is not good. Like, and I'm thinking to myself, all these negative thoughts start coming into my head. And I'm like, there's no way you're going to be able to finish this if you have stomach flu. All of the training you put in all year long is all for nothing. You paid for the registration fee on this thing. Those $200, and you're going to lose that because, you're not going to finish and blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden something happened in my mind. I was like, Joe, you can sit here and you can fret about this stuff, or you can choose to be positive and you can choose to have faith that things are going to be okay. And every time a thought would come into my head that was like, about having the flu or anything like that, I just chose to say, nope, I'm choosing to have faith. I'm choosing to believe that I can do this and that things are going to be okay, right? So within an hour of the race, after we started, all of my stomach flu symptoms and everything else had gone. So I'm like, sweet, perfect, right? So we had these waypoints that we also had to hit. So we had to be at a specific place by a specific time to stay on track for this 10-hour race. So everything's good. The team that I'm riding with had done it like 5 to 8 times. It's not their first rodeo, and they're all happy, and they're like, man, we're cruising, you know, everything's good. And then we get to our first waypoint, and we're like, oh my gosh, we're 9 minutes behind where we're supposed to be, and we're only on our first waypoint. So again, the negative attitude starts coming around amongst the team, and they're like, my legs are hurting. It's never hurt this bad before, and I don't think we can do it. Why did we decide on this? And blah, blah, blah. Negative, 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 right? And again, that voice clicked in my head, and it was like, Joe, you can choose to be positive, or you can choose to fret over all this stuff. So instead of just joining in on the conversation, I was like, no, guys, we got this. We still have 160 miles to go or whatever it is. We can still do this. It's going to be okay. So we keep pushing. We hit our next waypoint, and we're right on time. So we're like, perfect. We get to the third waypoint, and then all of a sudden, I'm the first guy there, and the other team's behind me still. And I'm waiting for them a few minutes. They show up, and they're like, Joe, we're kind of gassed out. We don't know if we can keep this pace up. We're not sure how, you know, if we're going to be able to continue pushing at this same clip. And I'm like, all right, well, let's see what we can do. Let's push together as a team, right? So the lead guy oftentimes has the hardest job. If he's pushing the wind or she's pushing the wind, and everybody that follows behind that person is drafting. So you guys as leaders, you're kind of blazing the way for the rest of your team, right? So anyway, I'm like, guys, just follow my wheel, just jump on my wheel, follow me, and we're just going to push, and we'll see how things go. So I'm leading the way, and then all of a sudden my rear tire pops. So we're a few minutes behind by this time. My rear tire pops, and then the team keeps going. And I'm like, all right, I'm kind of hosed. I don't have my team with me. I'm behind schedule, and I have a flat tire. So I jump off my bike, I change it, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. I put everything all back together. I start riding again, and boom, my tire pops again. And by this time, I'm like, guys, I can't believe this. I don't even, like, my morale's going, you know, I'm like, I don't know if I can actually hit my goal at this stage in the game anymore. But what I noticed is at this time, and I don't know if you guys believe in fate or whatever it is, but that positive attitude kicked in again. I was like, Joe, choose to have faith, man. You can still do it. And right as that happened, a support vehicle pulls over and is like, do you need help? And I totally did, because I only had one tube, and I'd already used it, and it popped. And I was like, yes, do you have a tube? And they're like, yep, right here. Boom. They give it to me. I'm like, perfect. So I throw the tube on. I'm a little more careful this time to make sure that I did it all right. So I put it back together, I throw it on, and I just keep clipping. And again, those negative thoughts start coming in my head. I'm like, there's no way you can do it, man. You were already behind schedule. Your team is gone. You've had 2 flat tires, and you're already behind when all that stuff happened. And I was like, no way, man. I've trained all year for this, and there's no way I'm going to let this go. I'm not going to choose to sit back and just let life happen to me. I'm going to choose to push, even if it's going to be hard. So I'm pushing as hard as I can, and I'm thinking to myself, there's no way I can do this by myself. And the headwinds start coming. The wind's blowing in my face at this point in time. And I'm like, dude, this sucks. It was a suffer fest. I'm not going to lie to you. It was hard. And something clicked in my mind. It was like, Joe, just keep on pushing. And sooner or later, you're going to find somebody else who wants it just as bad or more than you do. And they're going to catch up with you or pass you, and you just hang with them. So sure enough, that's what happened. And I continued to, I find a guy and, you know, that wanted to do it and was really pushing. And then before we knew it, another guy pulled up to our group, and then another guy pulled up to our group. And all of a sudden we had this group of like 8 guys, and we're all rotating and pushing together to hit this common goal. And we crossed the finish line together. And I ended up crossing the finish line 17 seconds underneath my goal. I crossed the finish line at 9:59:43. And it was an amazing experience, honestly, and it taught me the power of having a positive attitude. So what I'm going to tell you guys, honestly, is get to know the rules. Download that document, print it out, put it up somewhere where you can see it. Get to know the ins and outs of the compensation plan, how it all plays out. If you don't know the rules, you can't win the game, right? Second concept I want you guys to really put into play. If you want to have a bigger harvest, you got to have more farmers planting seeds with you, okay? So you got to build active team. Stay in the I do phase. Rock out those coaches. Bring on active coaches. Bring on challengers. Help them get transformations. Make sure that duplication is happening for you and your team, because as that takes place, you're going to start getting into the we do phase. You're going to start opening up your potential to earn through multiple different pipelines. Here's one that I didn't mention earlier, guys. Quarter 4 just started. All right? Quarter 4 just started. What I want you guys to do, if you are a diamond or 1 star right now, or even not even a diamond or 1 star, I want you guys to get to diamond or 1 star by the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Okay? Because if you get paid as diamond or 1 star for 6 consecutive weeks, you'll get the diamond or 1 star bonus. So you have to hit Success Club in October, November, and December. And then you also have to be paid as diamond or 1 star for 6 consecutive weeks, basically starting this week, throughout the rest of this year. So if you can do that, that's $250 for something you guys want to do anyway. I can tell you Natalie didn't get that when she was a diamond or 1 star. This year is the first time that's ever happened, and we don't know if we're going to continue doing it. So at this stage, lock that in, right? If you're a 2 star or above, make sure that you're getting that 2 star bonus. If you're a 5 star above, make sure you're getting that 5 star bonus, okay? So lock that pipeline in, okay? Make sure that your team is working with you. You're finding other active builders, and you're going to rock out that we do phase of this business. Give yourself some time. Give yourself some runway. It's going to take some time to get to diamond. It's going to probably take even a little bit more time to get to 1 star and 2 star. But I think Lynn shared this today in the National Wake Up Call. She said, fast doesn't last, right? And that's the way it is. When you hear somebody that's like, oh, I lost 40 pounds in 1 month. And it's like, what? Is your heart going to stop beating? What are you doing? Something like that, takes time. 40 pounds takes some time to lose. But the same thing with your business. As you guys continue to grow, slow, a steady growth is exactly what you want to do. I almost said slow and steady. I don't think slow and steady is necessarily what you want to focus on. You want to focus on steady, right? What can you sustain over a long period of time, right? In cycling, back to that, they call it functional threshold power. What can you sustain what's the highest amount of power you can put into your pedals for an hour or 2 hours, right? Without burning out. That's what they call it, functional threshold power. I want you guys to figure out, what is your functional threshold power for your business? What is something that you could sustain, for 5, 6 months, a year, 3 years, and indefinitely, right? What is something that you can do there? Because you don't want to burn yourself out, but at the same time, you want to be applying yourself, right? So guys, honestly, I can tell you, as you go out there and you help more people change lives, and as you find more people who are willing to plant seeds with you and change lives with you, you are going to open up the potential to change a ton of people's lives, help people live more, a more healthy lifestyle, and you're going to be able to be compensated through that, through the Beachbody compensation plan. But you need to make sure that you understand how those rules work in order for that to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the call right now. Natalie, I'll turn the time back over to you. If you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. If you want to just wrap up the call, that's fine too.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So much. And I love that if you don't know the rules, you can't win the game. That was kind of ding, 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 and I don't think that going into this, like Joe said, we're so afraid of the making money thing. And that a lot of times we don't focus on how to actually do it. We just talk about, just sell challenge packs, just help 3 people, right? Which is true. But taking this into consideration and really focusing and learning it it's your business and it is your responsibility to learn how it works. And so if you're just going out there and going through the motions and not focused on those little milestones and how you can actually earn, that's what we have to make sure that we're doing. So thank you so much, Joe. Do you guys have any questions on this? Anything? Any questions? You can type it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself real fast if you have one. And I'm so sorry, I can't breathe.
Oh, it sounds like you have a cold.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's been going on all weekend. It's Texas. It's so fun.
I get you. Okay, so guys, the other thing that I'll do, just last homework assignment for you guys, make sure to get this information to your team, okay? And the whole We Do thing happens when you share information and content, right? So if you've signed up coaches that are wanting to make a little bit extra money through Beachbody, make sure that they know all this stuff. Make sure that the duplication is really happening for them, and that they understand that real money through Beachbody comes through hitting the we do phase, right? And if they're clear on what their end goal is, and that's finding more active coaches and helping more people, then all of a sudden it becomes more viable for them to achieve their goal. What we want to do in the end is we want to look at what do you want to achieve? And it's okay if like you have people on your team that's like, hey, I just want to get my Shakeology paid for. And that's really it. That's okay. It's okay if it's like, hey, I'm just right now, I thought I wanted to coach, but right now I'm just focusing in on myself. And I'm just going to continue participating in the challenge group. That's fine. But if you have somebody who wants to potentially replace their income, who wants to be able to have more freedoms, who wants to quit their dead-end job that they hate, we need to make sure that their actions are in alignment with their goals, okay? And if that's happening, once those actions are in alignment with their goals, we're setting them up for success. So anyway, I'll just end with that. Any other questions? All right, my friends, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I appreciate it. It's been great to see you. If you do have questions, or if you're too shy to ask right now, don't feel like you can't say anything, right? Just send me a Facebook message. That's Joe R. Cardon. Oh, thank you so much, Kyle. I appreciate it. It's Joe R. Cardon on Facebook. If we're not friends, friend me. Send me a Facebook message and just be like, Joe, I got a question about XYZ. I'd love to help you out. Okay?
Awesome.
All right, everyone.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, Natalie. You guys have an amazing night. Thank you so much.